First airing in 1996, Nickelodeon's Hey Arnold, created by Craig Bartlett, has become in many senses a cult classic and favorite cartoon for many, me included. From pensive, silent moments, a vibey jazz soundtrack by Jim Lang, and heartfelt moments, this show has cemented itself in my heart. And for those who have never seen the show, don't think it's all serious. It is a kid's cartoon. There are many a funny moment and wacky episode, but underneath it all, there's something a lot deeper that resonates with the viewer. At least I think so. So, what's so special about the football-headed kid in his show? What is the subtle genius of Hey Arnold? And I'm gonna apologize beforehand, but this video may be chaotic and feel like it's out of order, but that's how I watch the show. I've seen every episode, but out of order because that's how it was presented to me, as late-night reruns on Nickelodeon. While the exact geographical location of Hillwood, the city the show takes place in, is never disclosed, Bartlett notes that it is inspired by northern cities he loves, specifically Brooklyn, Seattle, and Portland. And it's noticeable. The brick buildings and run-down city blocks remind me of old photos of New York and other New England cities, while the surrounding pine forests and greenery seen in episodes like Gerald's Game/Fishing Trip give off Pacific Northwest vibes, coming from someone who currently lives there. But more importantly, it's the energy of the setting that really has importance. Dark, barren streets in the middle of the night, empty lots filled with trash, cracked sidewalks, and tall brick buildings that loom over the characters. All of these create the perfect place for a story. How many of you found yourselves out late at night, a little frightened of the darkness between the city lights, running from one pool of light to another to feel safe? And it is this effect that illustrates the point of view, Arnold's, or more importantly, any child's. An important thing to notice is also the state of things. This isn't a rich neighborhood the kids live in. It's pretty run down. Not the best environment that you'd want to live in as a kid, yet the show provides an important lesson to the young viewer. In the episode The Vacant Lot, the kids in the neighborhood take action, making the empty lot filled with trash into a sports field for them to play in, showing the kids watching that it is possible to affect and empower others in your life and your surroundings, and how to make something for yourself. At least, that's how I interpret the episode. Now, let me start by saying, the setting of Hey Arnold is very different from the environment I grew up in, both in time and location. See, while the show came out in the mid-90s and lasted to 2004, by the time it did end, I was barely cognizant of my surroundings. Sure, I was born in 2000 and technically alive during the show's run. By the time I started watching it, I was far removed from the time period it took place in. I have no experience of life as a 90s kid, nor of any living in a large northern city. I grew up in LA, basically the suburbs, far removed from the city streets and brick apartments of Hillwood. Yet, I somehow resonated with the city of Hey Arnold. Something about it felt comforting, like I was a part of a large community, where I ran around town with a group of friends, played ball in the empty lot, and biked home late for dinner. It was really a sense of community and belonging that really made that part of the show amazing. Now, this part of the video is criminally short, but that's because I'm not that knowledgeable about music. But yet, the musical soundtrack and ambiance created by Jim Lang absolutely slaps and fits the mood of the show. Not a huge fan of jazz, but I could listen to the music of Hey Arnold all day. It's the perfect piece for the show. It just goes really well with the mood and characters and the vibe that I believe Craig Bartlett was going for. While there are a variety of characters on the show and a lot of supporting ones, I'm going to focus on the two I personally believe to be the most important and who have impacted and reflected my life the most. Helga Pataki and Arnold. No last name, they never mention it in the show. Starting off with Helga, spoilers if you haven't seen the show, Helga is the school bully, quotations, who is secretly in love with our main character Arnold. While openly mocking him, she secretly adores him, even obsesses over him, and frankly in an unhealthy manner. At home, she is neglected, her father who ignores her so he can work, and her alluded to be alcoholic mother, as I said, it is a kid's show, and how they worship her perfect sister Olga. Arnold, on the other hand, is a sweet kid with a heart of gold, helping others and teaching some important life lessons. But he too has a not-so-perfect home life, as he is an orphan who never knew his parents and lives with his kooky old grandpa and grandmother, who probably has Alzheimer's, seeing as she likes to impersonate others and never recognizes who she is, specifically in the boarding house they own, filled with not-so-perfect tenants. Both Arnold and Helga, to me, are two sides of the same coin. And what I think is so appealing about these characters is how real they are and how they reflected reality, at least my reality. See, while I'm no orphan and I don't live in a boarding house with my grandparents, I see myself in both Helga and Arnold. I'm an only child like Arnold. I hope I have a heart of gold. I did grow up in a big city, but my dad also died when I was young, and I remember him always at work, and he didn't always have the time to play with me. And after he died, my mom became absorbed in her work and try and support us, but she also started to reflect Helga's mother, if you catch my drift. And ironically, it's this isolation I found myself in that allowed me to stay up late to watch reruns of Hey Arnold. Similar to Helga, I found myself seemingly alone and angry, taking that anger out on my peers as a kid, but also unable to express my emotions in a healthy and normal way, which led me to bullying a lot of the crushes I had in elementary school. So, yeah, that's what I think the subtle genius of Hey Arnold is. It's characters. How real they are, how they reflect reality for who knows how many kids out there living similar lives in not so perfect homes and not so perfect places. And I really think the show provides moments and examples that could really help these kids. Moments when characters are allowed to sit and think in silence. Moments where kids are able to feel comfortable with what they feel, that there is someone else like them who feels the same things. Moments for kids to see that they aren't powerless but have agency to make change and themselves happy. I know this isn't very in depth, but it's the subtle genius of Hey Arnold, not what makes, Hey Arnold extremely good in an obvious way. So, if you haven't seen it yet, I really suggest you do. The full series is on Paramount Plus, and they show reruns all the time on Nickelodeon.